The Whispering Walls. It was an old mansion, one that people in town whispered about, but no one dared visit. For years, it stood at the edge of Blackthorn Woods, where the trees were gnarled and twisted like hands reaching toward the sky. The locals said the house was alive, that it held dark secrets, but no one had ever stayed long enough to find out. Amara didn't believe in ghost stories. She was a journalist, and her job was to uncover the truth behind these myths. When she got wind of the mansion's eerie reputation, she saw it as the perfect opportunity to debunk another legend. A story like this could make her name. So armed with her camera, notebook, and flashlight, she set out to spend one night inside. The front door creaked open as if it had been waiting for her. The air inside was cold, the kind of cold that sank into your bones. Dust coated every surface and cobwebs hung from the corners like twisted lace. The house was empty, or so she thought. The first few hours were quiet. She wandered through the rooms, taking notes on the decay and neglect. But as the night deepened, strange things began to happen. It started with the whispering. At first, Amara thought it was the wind whistling through cracks in the old walls, but the sound was too deliberate, too human. Low voices, murmuring unintelligibly, seemed to seep out from the very structure of the house. She pressed her ear to the wall, and the whispers grew louder, though she couldn't make out what they were saying. The walls were speaking, but in a language she didn't understand. Then came the footsteps. Heavy, slow thuds echoed through the hallways, but when Amara looked, no one was there. She began to feel eyes on her, watching from the shadows, from the corners of the rooms where her flashlight didn't reach. The whispers became louder, more insistent, filling her head with a cacophony of sound. Panicking, she tried to leave. She ran to the front door, but it wouldn't budge. The windows were sealed, and her phone had no signal. She was trapped. Desperate, she stumbled upon the basement door, the one place she hadn't explored. Maybe there was a way out down there. The stairs creaked under her weight as she descended into the dark, musty cellar. The whispering followed her, growing louder with each step. At the bottom of the stairs, she found a door, locked with heavy chains. Something scratched from the other side, as if trying to get out. And then she heard it clearly for the first time, a voice just beyond the door calling her name. "Amara, come closer!" Her heart pounded in her chest as she backed away. Suddenly, the door burst open with a deafening crash, and a black mass of shadow surged toward her. In the dim light, she could make out faces twisted in agony, their mouths open in silent screams. They reached for her with cold, ethereal hands. Amara turned to run, but the shadows were too fast. They surrounded her, dragging her down, pulling her into the darkness. The last thing she heard was the whispering, clearer now, and terrifying in its message. "You will never leave." The next morning, the mansion stood as it always had, silent and still. But if you listen closely, you can hear a new voice in the walls, whispering, begging to be let out. Amara had become part of the legend, another victim of the mansion, her story lost in the endless whispers that filled its cursed halls.